Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to the High Energy Entrepreneur Radio Show on the iNetpreneur Network. I'm Donna Guinouard, and I'm your host. And I am so excited that you joined us here today. Today, we have three amazing guests, and it's all about women impactors, secrets of how you too can change the world. So get ready. If you're able, take some notes. But before we go into that interviewing my incredible guest today, I need a couple things from you. First, subscribe to this channel. Make sure you bookmark all your networking activities at ntevents.net and like us on our Facebook page. You know, the iNetpreneur Network is where entrepreneurs, business owners, influencers, and experts come together to talk about their challenges and their triumphs, their tragedies and their impact. So let's get behind their stories and learn from their perspiration and inspiration. I'm joined here today in studio with none other than Robert W. Jones. He is the owner and chairman of Network Together. Hi,
Hey,
Robert.
Hi, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, I've been the most fortunate guy in the world. Like we were talking before we got on air here. I was like, last week we had three great women impactors, and this week we have three phenomenal impactors as well. I mean, I couldn't feel any luckier.
I know. It's so exciting. So before we get into the interview with these incredible women, what do we have going on? What's new?
Well, I'd like to point out to our audience that we had our first full month of our speaker pathway. They do speaker training, and they're a part of our iNetrepreneur Academy. And we had a lot of great feedback on our academy, and we're excited to announce that this month we've signed up our next iNetrepreneur partner, Stuart Gethner with Gethner Properties and Gethner REI. And he's going to be talking about real estate. And if you'd like to know more about what we are offering through our academy, you can go to ntevents.net. That's ntevents.net.
Absolutely. And I'm a member of Speakers Pathway Coalition, and I got to say, shout out to Dawn McGrath and Jim Grant. They are phenomenal, as well as all the executive directors.
You know, and I like them really well because there's always a place, at the table in the iNetrepreneur Network for all of us to exceed. I'm really excited to hear from Debbie Allen today too. Brian Wright and I have been friends for 3 years, and I haven't gotten to really talk to Debbie too much, but I got to know her through Kat Cohen a little bit, who's also on the show today. We're going to find out a little bit about how they associate with each other, but it's really nice when, you see the community come together, and, it's like connecting the dots. I feel like getting out my water brush and like marking up the piece of paper before me.
Exactly. Exactly.
And lastly, I just want to remind everyone that Network Together does have 2 live chapter meetings each week. I know about 4 months ago, we had to pivot totally, because of COVID, from an all in-person networking organization to one that has gone pretty much all virtual. But on Wednesdays and Thursdays, we have our Mesa Central chapter and our Queen Creek chapter that meets every week. So if you have your hazmat suit, please attend those chapters. I promise if you're in the hazmat suit, you won't get sick.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I love it. Yes. Well, hopefully one of these days we'll all be able to kind of go back to the normalcy of in-person meetings in general, one-on-ones, because I know as a high energy performance coach, I miss it so much. I miss that personal energy.
I do too. I miss the high fives, the hugs, and the, patting on the backs, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see how the show goes, Donna. Thank you so much for having me on to begin the show with you each week.
Well, thank you, Robert. It's always a pleasure. So our first guest today, I am super excited, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than Debbie Allen.
Hey there. Great being here today.
Hi, Debbie. Well, first of all, thank you so much. I know how incredibly busy you are, and I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to be on our show and let me interview you.
My pleasure.
So, before I interview my guest, Debbie, I always like to brag a little bit about my guest. So, my turn to brag about you. So, Debbie is not only a motivational speaker and a business mentor extraordinaire. Of course, she is the owner of Debbie Allen International. She has over 25 years of experience and is an expert on client attraction. She is not only a certified speaker, but she is an author many times over. Goodness gracious. And I didn't even go into all your certifications. So, because there's a long list.
9 books. That's a long list right there.
Right.
Yeah, Donna, when I finished the first one, it was like birthing a baby. And it was like, no more babies. And then I got 9 of them now. Who would have thought? Right? I'm sure there'll be a 10th because we got to even that number out.
Yeah, it is kind of an odd number. And 9 just doesn't sound as good as 10.
Right. I think so.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So let's do a little background. Are you originally from here, Debbie?
No, I'm originally from Indiana, outside of Chicago, about 45 minutes outside of Chicago, Northwest Indiana. I grew up in a tough environment right outside of Gary, Indiana. We had our first family business that we had car rentals. So part of being in the car rental business outside of Gary, Indiana, which was number one place in the country for car thefts, good place to have car rentals, except they kept stealing cars, including our car rentals. So I learned at a very young age to be a repo girl. I would think that was, so I think what I learned, whatever it takes in business. So we had to go repossess the rental cars at times. It was like 5 phone lines, craziness before credit cards, turning people down. It was a really insane upbringing as far as business, but I'm so thankful for it because I from the very beginning, I just like, hey, whatever it takes in business. I've always had that attitude, and I always had like this tough little girl that can fight it out, and survive no matter what. And I learned that in my early 20s, being part of a family business. I actually bought into the family business when I was age 19. And I stayed with the family business as it grew from 5 rental cars to 200 rental cars and a huge mini storage facility, which was our first $1 million sale, which we sold to a major company called Public Storage. And that's when I left and started another career in a business on my own, which was retail clothing. And I did that for a number of years, building and selling stores, took that business from $100,000 to a multi-million-dollar business. So self-made millionaire on my own by the age of 32. And so I had been building and selling companies quite a bit before I ever thought of being a speaker. I just had a lot of great mentors in my life that taught me how to build it. I was not the sharpest crayon in the book, right, in the box. And so, but I had amazing mentors. I've always hired really successful people that were already doing it and then just followed their lead and implemented like a mad person. And that's what helped me be successful in every career I've ever been in.
I love it. And I love the fact that you talk about being in the family business and then later buying into it. You actually learned at such a young age how to do so much in business, right? Yeah. As an entrepreneur, you learn to juggle, you learn to deal with customers, the billing, everything that goes with owning your own business. There's just so much behind the scenes until it's such time you can get rid of it.
Yeah, Donna, it wasn't even just dealing with customers. It was dealing with really hard customers. Like, when you'd have to turn people away, you'd find their credit card number if you had it on this list, and then you'd have to cut their credit card off. You'd have to turn people down. I mean, it was a tough customer environment. And then collecting bills. Yes, Donna, that was my job, actually. So I would have a lot of accounts that were due. People still owed money from their car rentals. So I ran the small business division of collecting. So I was in court, gosh, now I think about all the stuff that I did, it cracks me up. But, I was in court like almost every week, in my mid-20s, going in front of a judge collecting in a small claims court. And so, gosh, I just think I learned so much because I just was thrown into it. I think I imagine what people could do as an entrepreneur if they were thrown into it and said, hey, you have to survive and this, you just have to learn it, figure it out. And that's, where kind of the environment I was thrown into. So, I don't accept excuses very well, but I wish everybody was kind of thrown into that pile that really truly wanted to be an entrepreneur and said, figure it out, make it happen.
Right. But I also think, and I'm curious your opinion on this, at least for me, I believe that all the experiences, if we're honest with ourselves, right, that all those experiences, whether, in your own business, working for others, because, you get a lot of valuable experience with that as well, right? That if we really take that and utilize what we've learned, we become a better entrepreneur.
Oh, most definitely. It's like this bag of tricks, doesn't matter
right.
what business you've been in, you've learned different skills in every business you've come to work with. So that's why I work with so many different diverse clients as a business mentor, because, I've been there, done it, just pretty much about any area, and I can look at things. And now I've become almost a business intuitive that when you give me a vision, I can see the whole business plan and how to build it, just right in front of me within a matter of seconds, just it's there. I can build the whole thing out. And so that's a really big gift that I've been given because I just kind of learned it intuitively doing this over and over and different types of business in so many years.
Oh, I love that. So let's talk about being a business mentor. Do you have a specific clientele, or Debbie, or do you kind of go with business and or solopreneurs?
My main clientele are speakers, coaches, consultants, people who want to be speakers or experts in something at the top of their game, be known as the top. I mean, I've even had carpet cleaners that were like, okay, I've been in this business for 30 years. Now I want to teach it. So somebody that's been in an industry and wants to be like the expert to teach it. So they're teachers, influencers, or again, authors, speakers, coaches, consultant. Those are my main clients because I'm basically teaching them my life's work.
I love it. And so for those who really don't know you, give us a little synopsis, if you would, about, kind of how you operate when you take a client on and what you do to help them and propel them forward to the success that they want to see.
Yeah, great question, Donna. It is by application, because when you get to a certain level of, business consulting, I call it mentorship, because they have to accept me and I also have to accept them, because I want to make sure
right.
that they're coachable, because I have a massive, almost 100% success rate. I can't say it's 100% because if somebody quits in the process and just bails, I can't help them. But if they do everything I tell them, there's a 100% success rate. And that's pretty massive. And so the reason being is because I don't take on a ton of clients when they're my personal mentoring clients. I select them and I work with them for a long period of time. Because I love growing businesses, obviously. And that's what I do is I kind of take them in and say, I'm going to grow this business with you. And I'm really invested the same way. Your success is my success. And that's the way I always look at it. And so there's a process of kind of an application, or a conversation that we have, making sure they're the right client to come on board, and then discovering which program that I offer is best for them. The majority of my clients actually come all the way in and become, if they can do this, and they've been accepted into that process as a full year mentoring program. And so the majority of them want to come into the full year mentoring program. It's if they can be accepted into that. If not, they work into a group program, or they work into like even a virtual VIP day. I do those now because I filled up my full day VIP days. So now I'm doing virtual VIP days, and it's perfect right now with what's going on. We can do those anytime.
I love that. And then, so you have a year program, and what other, do you have like a 6 month? I
have a 5 month program, which we do the majority, except they're not at the VIP level where they get a VIP day with me, but we build out their business for them and teach them all the speaking, all the skills and everything else. I say we, because I don't have coaches. It's mostly me, but I have a team of people that gets things done for them. And then when they come, they do a VIP day with me. They actually come and stay at my home. So, Donna, I was before really doing more of the coaching and mentoring, I was a full-time professional speaker, and then the 2008 crash. So I'm very aware of what it's like to stop momentum like now in these uncertain times. That was a much longer period of time. So I went international then. And then when I came back, I wanted more of a business lifestyle because I was 28 countries in 3 years. So I built a house that has a conference room in it. I'm actually sitting in my conference room right now. There's a beautiful guest casita in the backyard. People come and stay when they come for the VIP day. So people come to me now. It's pretty cool.
I love that. I love that. And oh my gosh, 28 countries in 3 years.
Yes.
Okay. So you weren't home a whole lot.
No, that's why I have a business lifestyle right now. It's I'm mostly
exactly.
now.
I'm sure that was a beautiful journey, but I can also imagine it was a little tiresome. I mean, it was just tiring.
Journey. I've learned to accept cultures anywhere, and most of those countries I traveled by myself. I was in the Middle East. I was in Africa. I was everywhere. And I felt safe all the time because I was a host would pick me up. I had that all scheduled. And I met just amazing people. I pinch myself, Donna, and just go, I think I've lived 3 or 4 lives already, at least,
I love it. So I have a question, and I would love, with everything you've done, what advice would you give a young woman starting out who really wants to be an entrepreneur and make a change in the world?
Oh, you just hit my heart button there, right? So during this, this pandemic, most people are like sitting back and kind of waiting, or they're thinking there's not much happening. I launched a new business. So I launched a new business where I am the country executive lead for Powerful Women Today, which is actually based out of Toronto. So I am the actual executive lead for the entire United States, and I'm building out chapters for them. And the reason being is because I have such a passion to help women entrepreneurs. And 2 of the main things that we want to support women with is women's empowerment and women's financial empowerment, so that you can make your own choices, say yes and no to the opportunities you want. So I just started this a couple of months ago. We already have 6 chapters in the US. We'll be launching this and having chapters all over. But this is something that's been near and dear to my heart as not just a side thing, but, I've always wanted a women's group like this, and it's already built and it's already running. That's got speakers bureaus and podcasts and everything built into it. So if women just say, I want the financial piece, I want the empowerment piece, whatever it is, they can come in and have a piece of that. So I'm actually feeding my heart with that right now. So you're speaking exactly to me, is like, I want to empower women. That's I want to empower more women to at least have a side hustle business if they have a job, because a job is not secure. Even right now, it's even less secure. But a side hustle business where you can have your own online business, something else, is what I want to empower women to do and be financially free.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's so important. Being financially free and owning that for yourself as a man, but as a woman, that's huge, because in my opinion, we wear a few more hats than men do. Yeah, right? Juggle the kids and the cat and the dog and the house and the, groceries and everything that goes with it. So I think it's important that we be there and show up for ourselves. And I love what you do. So
or you just get empowered enough that you do a couple trial husbands, and then by the 3rd one, you find one who's a great cook and does the grocery shopping, and it kind of balances out, nurse, but he's the cook.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So we have about 2 minutes left, and I want to ask you, what, as an entrepreneur, we don't always wake up great mood. Okay, life happens to all of us. We're just, things just go wrong. What do you do, Debbie, to get out of that funk in the morning and get yourself back in your space to help your clients?
Well, first thing I do now, I have a little 4.5 pound puppy that's adorable, and you got to just smile because she wakes up happy as anything. In fact, she's like way too happy for me in the morning. Like, dial it down, right? But she gets you to realize like, oh, okay, that's my first little thing. The next is, I've always got my schedule. So, I usually start my day at 9 o'clock and I usually have a call at 9 o'clock. And so everybody that's scheduled to talk to me is somebody I want to talk to. So, now we're doing a lot more Zoom calls because I'm not out doing meetings as much. Like I spent, an hour and a half with my business partner on the women's conference today on the call. And it's like, we just got so energized, did strategy stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm so motivated, so I always have something in my day that motivates me. Don't watch a lot of news because I can't control that anyway. I can control what's here and what's happening in my work and environment. I just watch enough to know what's going on to protect myself. And the rest is you control your own day with the environment of the people you surround yourself. And we have so much opportunity to surround ourselves with amazing people now, and probably even more than ever before, because people that, like some big level people, I just reached out to a big name celebrity speaker today to speak at one of our big conferences that we'll be doing. And they're usually saying yes now because most of these are virtual. It's easier to pop on than fly and travel.
Right. I love that. And I so appreciate what you do. As a high energy coach, I tell my clients, it is important to get whatever works for you, find that space, whether it's a walk, whether it's go swimming, whether it's like you be with your animals, whatever it is, get in that space till you fill yourself up with that energy. So real quick, do you have anything coming up that people can go to? I know at debbieallen.com, correct?
Yes, I do. If they go to debbieallen.com and they sign up for my client attraction, my action guide, and my evergreen webinar that's on there, how to attract clients, they'll get on my list. And then the reason they want to be on my list is because I'm doing free virtual master classes every single month. I've got them booked all the way out for 6 months right now. So those are absolutely free. They're very information rich. I do live Q&A mentoring with the group when they come on at the end of the session. So that's the first thing you want to do. The next thing before we jumped on the call, we talked about, oh my gosh, we want to do live events. Well, my live event that I do annually once a year is coming up November 5th through the 7th in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it's going live. It will be live, and it will also be, because we can only fill so many people in the ballroom, it will also be Zoom. So if you can, if you want to sign up and you want to come live stream, you can do that as well. But I'm going to pass on to your listeners a complimentary ticket to come. So if they want to go live, they just have to post a no-show deposit. But if they want to go live stream, they're going to get a free pass to go, live stream.
Oh my goodness, that is so wonderful of you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's a great event. It's great. It's awesome. It's based on the concept of my book, The Highly Paid Expert, and it's my signature event. And it's really teaches people how to do that side hustle business where they make a lot of money. So that's actually my gift to you guys today. You guys can pass along the link for it.
Well, what a beautiful gift. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, being here on the show, letting me interview you. And helping women out there understand that, if you're stuck, go see Debbie.
Thanks, Donna. My pleasure.
Thank you. Holy cow, folks. All right. Debbie Allen. She is a hard-charging, smart, amazing, successful woman, self-made millionaire. She's done it. Nothing was handed to her. She did it herself. So if you're not sure where, reach out, get that free ticket and reach out go to her event, go Zoom. It's free. So that's incredible. I am so excited. My next guest is none other than Samantha Scholz.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Oh, I am wonderful. I am so excited. Oh, we got a little kickback there.
Oh.
Anyway, I am really excited that you are here today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I don't know where that little echo is coming from.
I'm not sure. It's good on this end.
Odd. Okay. Well, listen. We're just going on with it, and like it wasn't there.
Okay.
So I'm just excited that you're here. And I like to brag about my guests. So if give me a minute here. You are the owner of Energetic Me. You are a host coach.
I am.
And all about energy. I am so excited.
Oh, yes.
So Samantha is also a former trauma nurse for over 10 years.
Yes.
And she loves helping her clients with their health goals and finds joy in their joy and success.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Awesome. Oh, so can you turn your volume down just a skosh on your end?
Sure. Is that better?
I think much better.
Okay.
Yeah. Not
Maybe
quite,
I just have
quite
it
as
too
bad.
loud. Okay.
Sometimes that happens. So let's start with the basics. Are you from here?
I am not. I've been here since 99. I grew up in a little town called Susanville, California. I was born and raised there. And it's kind of a prison town. Most of the folks that live there either work for the prison or they work for the state. And so I grew up in this cute little place in California. It has lakes and a ton of trees, and it's lovely and beautiful. But then, there just wasn't a lot of work. So I needed to move out, and I kind of moved all around California and did various types of jobs and lived in Nevada, lived in the Bay Area, and then I finally made it out here. So I've been here since 99.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit about you were in healthcare profession for years.
Yes.
You were a trauma nurse. And then you decided you were kind of burnout.
Yes. So kind of burnout is it's a little bit more than that. But yes, I did. I worked in trauma. I'm actually a respiratory therapist, so there's a little bit of a difference between a nurse and a respiratory therapist. So the respiratory therapist helps with breathing. So any type of CPR, so airway breathing, we're always there. So those are typically more critical patients. So trauma, I would work in trauma or burn or delivering babies that might be struggling or children, that just accidents happen to people. So they need a big crew of people. And it was really amazing to work in healthcare. I did get burnout, but there's a lot of good things that come out of it, knowing that you can hone your skills in that type of atmosphere and you're working with people that love helping people. I went into healthcare because I love helping people, and that's what I wanted to do. The teams that we had were phenomenal, from doctors to nurses to respiratory to even the people, our transporters or housekeeping. You need everybody in that facility to make it work. And so, it started out, everything was great. And I slowly started moving up the chain and just more and more responsibility. And there were times within that the hospital would be struggling and we'd have to tighten down things. But what came with that was not enough people to do the job. We really did it. Right. We made it work, but it's super stressful when you're doing the work of 4 people.
Right.
And I started questioning, because I'm kind of a norm breaker. I don't necessarily believe in norms. And so I will challenge that. And, that might work in certain circumstances, but it didn't really in this one. So I kind of had to learn, because I was so passionate about it, about helping patients. And if there was an easier way or a faster, better way, then why wouldn't we want to know it? Because there's many ways.
We want to implement it.
Exactly. There's many ways to do the same thing, but I really felt like I was stuck. And so I was getting very frustrated when you keep getting shut down and, you're just working so hard. Like I was coming in earlier, staying later. I was a supervisor. I was a lead. I would have patients. I would train. That's just one day.
Right.
And so, you know, of course, you're drinking a ton of caffeine. After you come out of a trauma and you're sweaty, you're wanting to drink Diet Coke, at least I was. And, you know, we know that that's not necessarily all that great for you. So
No, not too
just
much.
over time. Yeah, exactly. So what happened is life happened as well. So at the time, I had a very stressful marriage and my brother was dying of cancer. So all of this was going on in the background while I'm working. And it was just all of a sudden, I said, okay, you know, I'm not typically afraid. I've had many careers in my life. And I knew that I could walk away if I wanted to, but I had made a conscious choice to work there so I could help people. But ultimately, in the end, I made the decision to leave and help people in a different way. So I went from healthcare to self-care.
I love it. So let's jump right into that. What describe energetically me?
Okay. So energetic me, the reason I came up with that and the reason that I like that name is because we all need more energy. And even though I happen to be burnt out in healthcare, you can really be burnt out in anything you're doing. So of course, you know, actually my ex-husband probably was burnt out at the time, but I just didn't really know. It snuck up on me, you know?
Right.
So it's just taking the initiative to say, I need help, really, is what it came down to. And it's time to heal and find a different way to help people. That's really what it came down to. And that's why I'm a coach. I
love that. I love that. So describe a little bit for those who don't know you, what your program is about and how it works.
Okay, so my program it's typically over 12 weeks. So we meet every other week for an hour. And these are all exercises because what we're doing is, of course, we're working on diet and nutrition because really that's the fundamental. If we're not fueling our body properly, like look at me, I was drinking Diet Coke and coffee like crazy. Of course I was going to crash. But so putting that in perspective, looking at diet and nutrition, but all the while we are working on talking and hitting key aspects within your life. So relationships, how are things working in the relationship? How's your sexual health? Are you able to communicate in your relationship? Because you know what happens if you're having a hard time communicating in your relationship, or, you know, somebody's disgruntled or something, you're taking that with you to work. You're taking that with you where you're going. So all I do really is I help people come to their own realizations by asking key questions. And what is important to you? What is not? What are you going through right now? And what do you want to change? Where do you want to be? Because sometimes when you're living it, it's so hard to see it. It's so hard to see it. And I actually hired a coach, and it was one of the best things that I did. I did not understand how important a coach could be.
Yes. Having a coach is huge. And in different aspects of what you need in your business or life.
Yes, true. Yeah, like financial. There's financial coaches. You know, I just happen to be a health coach. So, and we talk about the hard things too. I don't necessarily talk about money or wealth all that much, but it does come up. So we just kind of work through, like each week is a little different on a topic, and then there's homework. And we really, in 12 weeks, the change is phenomenal.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So we have about 6 minutes left. And I want to ask three final questions.
Okay.
First one, what advice would you give to a young female entrepreneur getting started?
I would say go for it. Go for it. Okay. And this is why, because when I was working in that situation, of course, I had gone to school, trained to do that. And then I had traditionally worked for companies. That's all I knew. I knew. So for me to take the jump and the leap to become an entrepreneur, but I was like, I have struggled so many times with the same scenario, like it's been done this way for 100 years. It's always going to be done this way and we can't change anything. And for me, that is just a ceiling that doesn't fascinate me. So that's what I would recommend. Like, you can do it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Is you can go back to work, for someplace, and it's okay, and get your paycheck there. But I would say go for it. It's worth it to do it your way and help.
Perfect.
I'm still helping.
Absolutely. So, as an entrepreneur, we don't always wake up in a great mood. Sometimes life is just kind of crappy. We're in a bad mood, Yeah. What do you do to get out of that funk so that you are ready to work with your clients in that healthy space?
I think that the biggest thing is, well, for one, I meditate a lot. And I know it's hard when you're so used to being so busy and slowing your mind. It has taken me years to figure out how to do that. But I do meditate quite a bit, and I set a schedule, basically. If I know somebody's booked at 9, then I'm on the phone. Just like Debbie was saying.
I love it.
It's nice to have it booked. And really then it's something you love to do. It is so different. Yes, it is challenging. And some days you're like, I just want to sit in my pajamas, but I can't.
Right.
And you do it because you know that there's no paycheck if you're not doing it. So
if you don't
who can you blame? Who can you really blame for not eating? It's going to be you, and I'm going to eat. I'll find a way.
It's funny. As a high energy coach, I give my clients different options because a lot of times they're not in that centered space, and I help them get out of here.
Right.
And come into that heart-centered space and get more ROE, return on energy.
Yes, nice. I love that.
So one last question. What do you do when you take off your entrepreneur hat to recharge so that you really come back rested and full of life and readiness for your clients?
Right. That is such a good question because it's so easy to take on other energies. So I found that working in the hospital and being around the dying and just the crisis, like I took on so much energy from other people. I didn't even realize it. But I don't know. I would say I got lost there. Can you ask me the question again? I'm sorry.
What do you do to recharge?
Oh, yes. Self-care. It's the way to go. So I do exercise, of course. I enjoy cooking and gardening, and I do meditation, massage, anything that you really enjoy that can just bring you back to being you and in touch with your happiness and what you truly love. It's time to be honest with yourself, really.
Oh, I love that.
Am I happy? And should I make some changes?
Right. Be happy and be full of energy.
Yes. Of course.
I love it.
That does come about, though, when you start working on all of this. It's amazing.
How
you get bogged down in your head.
Yep, so it does. I totally understand that one 1,000%. So how can people reach you?
Okay, so the easiest way, you can always text me. My phone number's over there at 602-810-8939. You can always text me, or you can email me at samantha@energeticme.com. And I offer a free 30-minute consultation. So everybody has something a little bit different that they would want to work on or have concerns. And that 30-minute session kind of will bring about, oh, hey, maybe I could be working on that, just to start taking some of that burden off of you. You don't necessarily have to pack all of these thoughts around that you're thinking. So I can help you get rid of some of that and become lighter and free and confident in you.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and be on the show and let me interview you.
Thank you, Donna. I appreciate it. It was wonderful.
It was. Wow. Was Samantha not just wonderful? Super excited. If you're just joining us here on the High Energy Entrepreneur Radio Show, we are interviewing 3 dynamic women who are making a difference and changing the world. I am your host, Donna Guinouard, and I am your high energy coach. Our next guest is just fabulous. Love her to death. I am introducing you to Catherine Cohen. Hi, Kat.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I always enjoy hanging out with you.
I do too, and it's been a minute.
It has.
Yes, unfortunately. So, before I start the interview, Kat, I like to brag about my guests. So, Kat is the co-founder of Cohen Coaching and is a client attraction expert.
Yes.
Her gift is creating ideas for her clients and creating that clear path of growth and renewal.
Yes.
Now, here's a little fun fact, and you might hurt me for this, for putting the fish out of the bag, so to speak. But Kat is not only a sci-fi fan, but she grows her own tilapia in her backyard.
I do.
And they're not always nice to her.
No, tilapia. So I have chickens, and they have names. They only give us eggs, and I have tilapia. They have no names. They like to jump, and they become dinner. So there you have it. To all the vegans and vegetarians out there, I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
I love it. So tell us, are you originally from here?
No. My accent gives me away every time. I have
What?
What? Yeah. Born and raised in New York City. Yeah, I'm from Queens, New York, Richmond Hill. Shout out from Queens, New York. My late husband was from Staten Island, New York. We met. He had already decided to come out here, and about 25 years ago, almost 25 years ago, and end of 1995, we moved out here to Arizona. I've been here ever since.
So how, this is something that Robert and I talk about quite often. Not everybody was born an entrepreneur. Some start out in the business world and some go back and forth. I've done both. Started out, went back, until this last time, and I was like, yeah, I'm not so happy with you anymore. So this is it. How did you start out?
I was born an entrepreneur. I was absolutely born an entrepreneur into an entrepreneurial family. In fact, so my parents owned a shoe store. Explains my incredible desire for more shoes than I ever need, and I'm low right now, so I'll have to do some shopping. But it's one of those shoe stores that had the ladders that were on the wheels, and my mother went into labor on the ladder.
Oh no.
First of all, I was already 3 days late, which for everybody out there who goes, oh, that explains why you've never been on time to anything. Yes, that explains why I was never on time to anything. But if you're 3 days late with your last child, why the heck are you on a ladder? But yes, I was born into the shoe business. And for most of my life, I've been an entrepreneur. Even when I had a corporate job, as Debbie Allen so eloquently said earlier, I had that side hustle. That keeps the entrepreneurial spirit going. That keeps the juices flowing. That keeps you on the edge. What do I do? What's next? Where do I go? So much more than, being in a cubicle and that cubicle mentality, in my opinion.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let's go and talk about how Cohen Coaching started.
So Cohen Coaching started, I hope to heck I don't, many of your listeners know my story.
Yep.
A very fresh story. Cohen Coaching started, Barry and I actually had a software company with another partner. And our part of the software business was sales, marketing, coaching, training. And our partner was the developer. And we parted ways. And so when Barry and I looked at each other and said, what do we do next? We realized that the thing that we were very good at was taking these new business owners, using our software, and developing them into 6-figure plus income earners in their own business. And so we expanded who we coached and what we coached, but it was in the arena of business coaching. And so we were together 24/7 for most of our marriage. And now he's just, with me in spirit. And we continue to coach together in our own way.
I love that. And so, touch my heart. Such a beautiful story and beautiful love. But let's talk about how you have melded this into helping other people, and kind of give a synopsis for those who don't know you, Kat, on how you go about this transformation of their business. It's fascinating.
The transformation from coaching in the software company, or the transformation for me right now?
No, the transformation you do with people, helping them.
Okay. So, I love Michael Gerber and the whole E-Myth philosophy. And that is, hey, I'm really good at what I do. I am so freaking good at making widgets. I know, I will start my own widget making company. I know nothing about business. I know nothing about sales. I'm really good in this little area of my business. And so I will just go out, make widgets, and people will come to me. Unlike Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will not come.
Right?
So the transformation that I provide is everything that you don't do in your business. Everything that you don't know how to do or aren't doing in a way that's attracting clients. Client attraction is easy. Letting people know who you are, what you do, and why you are the expert in your field. I know Debbie is a mentor of mine. So if I keep referring to her, that's why.
Right.
But Debbie talked about being the expert in your field. Well, that's great that you are the best at what you do. And if you don't tell people and then put it out there to attract clients in, you're doing selling. And then you're doing the hard
secret in the world.
You're selling, you're trying, you're pushing, you're blah, and you're not making widgets anymore. You're not doing the thing that you love to do.
Right.
So the transformation is understanding who you're speaking to, understanding what their pain point is. We all have a pain point, and we all buy for pain relief. We do not buy for pleasure. I don't care what it is you're selling. We do not buy for pleasure. I will prove that to you over and over and over again. We buy to relieve pain. When you know who you're selling to, when you know what their pain point is, and when you know how your product or service can alleviate their pain, now you've built something and they will come. That's it.
You're spicy. I like it.
That's right.
I know. So, what are some of your thoughts? We've got time, and I love this because I've known you for some years now, Kat. What are your thoughts, just like I asked Debbie and Samantha, on a young entrepreneur, female, wanting to start out? What are some of your words of wisdom for them?
Understand why you want to get into business. Understand what it means to you to serve. Because when you're in a cubicle, you do your thing, and no offense to but you do your thing, and you're invested to a degree, and to the degree in which you are invested is the degree in which you will rise up through the company. When
The
you are
degree
an
of your
entrepreneur,
paycheck.
the degree of your paycheck, yes. When you're an entrepreneur, it's all on you.
Yep.
Why are you doing what you're doing? Because in the beginning, it ain't the paycheck. It's not working less hours, because I get to choose what 20 hours a day I work.
Right.
That's what being an entrepreneur is. So why, first of all, why are you doing what you're doing? What's in it for you? And then what's in it for them? And the other thing that I will say, and I will get bleeped for saying this, but to quote Billy Joel, don't take any shit from anyone. Just do it. Don't let anyone rain on your parade. And as Samantha said earlier, if you fail, you fail. Okay.
Right.
I tried it, so I failed.
Next.
Big deal. Next. You got to do the adventure. Oh my gosh, you got to do the adventure.
I love that. Okay, so we have roughly 4 minutes left. So one of my questions is, Kat, as a woman, as an entrepreneur, sometimes we wake up just in a rough mood. Sometimes, right? Sometimes we're just really grumpy, or we're just really, really angry. Or what do you do to get out of that mood, Kat, so that you can come back and be totally in that good space for your clients?
I make coffee. First and foremost, every morning I make coffee, and I don't just put the Mr. Coffee on. I've got to grind the coffee and get the French press out and, pour the water. And it is a ritual.
Yep.
And in that ritual is meditation. In that ritual is time to think. I recently adopted a little corgi. He's 2 years old. His name is Digby. So now we're getting up in the morning and we're walking. So in addition to playing with my cats and feeding the cats, I walk the corgi. I go outside. I feed the chickens. I feed the tilapia. There is this time that I have in nature. There's this time that I have with my little fur babies and my feather babies, so that I can connect with creatures that truly, truly express unconditional love.
Amen.
And in that expression of unconditional love, your mood is lifted. You can start your day.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
I love that. As a high energy coach, I always talk to my clients about, because when they come to me, their energy is really displaced, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, you're in your head and you're like on a squirrel cage. You're just a little hamster cage and you're going round and round and round, and you're never going to get off that. You have to get into a place of being centered so that you fill up with that peacefulness inside and you get more ROE, return on energy. And then you're ready to take on the world and you're in a great mood because you're coming from the right place.
Right.
Absolutely. I love that. So my last question is, Kat, what do you do when you take off your little entrepreneurial hat? And I know you do sometimes.
Sometimes.
What do you do? I know. What do you do to, recharge Kat and really get where business really isn't at the forefront, so that you can come back and fully be filled up for you with that energy and be present for your clients?
It was, just unwinding with Barry on the couch watching TV. I now hang out with people who are also in the same situation as me, lost a spouse. So Facebook, social media, really great to be able to connect with people. But I continue to, do what I did for 25 years with my husband, and that is sit down, relax, and watch something sci-fi, because that is my passion. That was my passion always before I remember hanging out with my cousins when I was about 12 years old, seeing the first Star Wars movie and going, oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And, to this day, and I'm not telling my age, 55.
You're 35.
Yeah.
We're the same age.
I don't care.
I don't either. I've earned it.
Exactly. Really just watching something totally brainless. Going into decompression mode and just hanging out with something like that. So that's what I do to decompress.
I love it. I love it. That's perfect. So Kat, real quick, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
You can call me. Don't text me because it's my office number, 602-399-7430. You can reach me, Kat, C-A-T, at cohencoaching.com. Give me a call, send me an email, and let's set up an income acceleration session. There's a lot of stuff going on in business right now. There's a lot of pivoting that has to happen. So let's hang out for 30 minutes and talk about the pivot that may help you move your business forward in this economy, in this craziness, because I promise you, this is not the first craziness that has happened. It is the most intense, but it is not the first craziness that has happened in business, and it will not be the last. So let's have an income acceleration session and accelerate your income.
I love it. I love it. Kat, thank you so much. You are a treasure, and I'm so blessed that you're in my life.
I feel the same. Thanks, Donna.
Okay, folks. So we had 3 incredible guests. Robert, are you there?
I am, Donna. Hi.
Pretty intense, huh?
Well, I think it really just goes back down to service.
Absolutely.
Samantha, Kat, and Debbie. I mean, what are they here to help with? What are they here to be hired for? Each one of them has a secret sauce and a secret place and a secret passion. All of them can offer anything to everyone, but then there's also certain specialties that are just going to resonate, women and men that probably would hire them as coaches. And what I liked about it is, I felt there was, we got some professional out today, but we also got a lot of the personal out today, to understand their backgrounds and what they've done. And, there is even a little bit of the ceilings that people are knocking on still. And Samantha brought that out, but as a man, getting to listen to women and being a son, I had a single mom that raised me, all my early years, I also have a passion for women because, I've always felt it's not a man thing. It's not a woman thing. It's a person thing, and it's my goal to just grab as many great people in my life that I can. And, today, I think you did a great job of bringing out great stories of great people today, Donna.
Well, these are 3 powerhouse women who are making an impact every day in our world and helping women to rise up to the potential that they have.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel rise, and I'm looking around. I don't see myself as a woman yet, but I feel pretty damn energetic and passionate right now. That was awesome. I mean, my gosh, we might have to just do an all-woman show, and I'll just be that token guy or something.
Right, you'll just be the token guy in the background.
Yeah, that's right. Well, great job, Donna. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Robert. Well, we are at the end of our show, folks. My name is Donna Guinouard, and I am the owner and founder of High Energy Performance Coaching. And I would love if you have any reservation on where your energy's at, reach out to me at highenergyrightnow@gmail.com. Let's schedule a session. And if you have any trepidation on meeting up with these incredible women, reach out to me personally and I will give you a warm introduction. This is all the time we have today. I can't wait to see you next week. We are going to have an incredible show. Have a safe weekend and have a great weekend, everybody, and be full of high energy.